look at this! Just look at it. Live. Five people watching. Man, these guys got our neck going on. What the hell y'all doing, man? This is working?
Jimmy's holding us up.
Wait, I will play right now. No, you're wrong. No.
Make sure at the beginning, if you guys would say, hey, you guys
Like and share.
Got it. And at the end. Good job.
Then you get the full flavor. Get the full flavor. And then you can't play that quick. I know. We're ready, man. We're ready to rock. We're pros, man. Good afternoon, guys. This is Tuning Tuesday with Alex and Joe. Remember, if you want this content to be more apparent and available on your feed, like and share everywhere. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, MySpace. If it's available, like and share it everywhere. So today we're going to start the show off talking about something that happened last week. We actually got a hold of a track rental, did some tuning on the 2018 Mustang. Wow. Actual tuning, not just kind of throwing spark at it and hoping for the best. So tell us what happened last week. You went to a track rental with Justin and a couple of customers, Grant and them, and tell us what happened up there at the OSW.
So we got there around like 10:30-ish. Didn't start making runs till about 11:15 after they got all the track cleaned up, prepped, all that stuff.
Was it chilly? Was it good weather?
It was, I think, 68, 70 degrees in the morning, and then like 77 by the middle of the day.
We didn't have the advantage of like insane negative DA, or
no, DA wasn't negative. I believe DA was floating around between 750 and 1250 throughout the day.
So typical Florida day.
So typical Florida day. On the first couple hits, I wasn't necessarily soft on the tune, but not going crazy with it.
Right.
And those were like 11.8s at like 119, 120. Threw a bit more at it. Left shift points the same at around 77, 7800, and the car went.
Oh, before you tell us what it went, we do have clips.
Cue the video.
Okay, Brian, you want to cue the video? You already got it. Beautiful. So there you go, Joe. Can you see it from here and see what? Tell us what happened during this. This was the run where you actually started really getting a little bit more aggressive at it.
Yeah, this was probably the third run after I started getting more aggressive at it, because the car had already gone the number a couple times before, consistently. So we just decided to get it on video for the sake of having video proof that, hey, this is the car that did it. It was this pass, this is what it ran, and this pass, and this is what it ran.
And take note of how the car sits. Stock
235 5018 Pirelli all seasons. Not even like the performance pack tires that are a bit more aggressive.
And we have the 315 gear.
315 rear gear, stock converter, stock cold air intake, completely stock interior, stock weight wise.
Stock.
As you can see on the slip, the car went 1166 at 121.94.
Man, that mile an hour, dude. That mile an hour is Cobra Jet mile an hour back in 15 to 17 cars. So then you went again. I guess you hot lapped it?
I just hot lapped it, drove it right around, and went and did a, well, wait for it.
Wait for it. Wait for it. It'll be about 11 seconds and change.
1164 at 122.
Okay.
I believe was the second pass.
So you gained mile an hour and ET. A little slower on the 60, but for whatever reason, back to back, it went a little quicker the second time.
Yeah, 200ths, I believe.
That's badass on those 235 Pirellis. I mean, those all-season Pirellis that are just not. I mean, not. Did it spin much? How did it act? How'd the car act?
The first time it didn't spin. The second time I just drove through the water box because I didn't feel that it really mattered at that point. It was just to see what the car did, and it spun for probably half a foot, maybe like 6 inches, and then just went.
So talk to me about the drive modes. I know you started talking about, like, what did you do? Did you leave it in drive? Did you do anything special with the mode?
I left it in drive and turned it and hit the switches. Hit the switches.
Yeah, it's like a 6.0.
Exactly. Hit the switches to put it in drag mode.
Okay. So that was in drag mode?
Both of those were in drag mode.
What do you notice between regular drive and drag mode in terms of butt dyno, how it feels?
Butt dyno, the shifting is different in terms of how it is and how hard it hits during the shifts because of the torque reduction that's not there in drag mode.
So they don't
peel throttle.
They don't peel throttle. So you don't hear that peeling off of the throttle, get a shift, and then throttle come back.
Throttle come back.
It's wah, bah, like immediately to this next gear.
Yeah, it's kind of like someone flat foot shifting a car.
Okay.
Just doing it that way, but it's about a 1/10 and a half drag mode versus drive mode.
Very good.
Since we're still allowing it to do trans torque reduction in drive mode.
Okay.
In normal mode, and then drag mode, we still allow it to do what it did stock in drag mode. It just not exaggerates the gains. It accentuates the gains of the tune. So you get it about a 1/10 and a half and about a mile an hour, mile and a half.
That's pretty impressive because just with shifting and similar spark and all that stuff, it's just trans calibration really makes a difference on these cars. Now, truth be told, there have been cars that are quicker out there, but you know we're not looking to get the NA record. We went up there on 235. 45 or 55 Pirelli?
235, 50, 18, I believe is the size.
We're obviously not shooting for records. We just want to make sure that our calibration is on point. If we want to shoot for records, we would gut it, make it a rolling tin can, and then shoot
a slick or
a drag radial, like a 26-inch or 27-inch drag radial. But Carrie, am I right to assume that there's more video, like a more elaborate video covering this this pass?
There is, and actually I posted a link in the comments. Excellent. So if anybody wants to go see the full video, they can go see it there.
And in the video, I think Joe describes exactly what he did, what he felt. It's a more in-depth video. Justin's in it talking about the runs, giving you, narrating the whole video. So you'll just click on that link, make sure you watch it, and it'll give you a good example of what we're doing with the car. We're not just going out there for records. We're trying to get this calibration on point, and Joe's been working hard at it, and this is all Joe. Again, he's just been working hard at it, so kudos to him to get it dialed in the way we think it should be dialed in. Because you can just send any tune out there with some spark and have some fun, but we like to do things a little different. So what is next for 18 Mustang, our 18 Mustang, which we haven't named, because I don't know if we're going to name that car, but if we do, we do.
The gray.
The gray, exactly. So, I mean, I would think, more vetting, cold airs.
More vetting, cold airs. We did some of the cold air stuff with our testing with American Muscle.
Oh, the one that made like
manual.
They made like 460 or
469 or 468 or something like that.
On the manual.
On the manual car. We did a little bit of the cold air testing. The cold airs are largely almost the exact same as 11 to 17.
Okay.
Or 15 to 17, but the angle that the throttle body comes out kind of makes your coupler situation a little bit different.
Okay. Does it come up at a more severe angle than 15?
It comes up at a more severe angle than like 11 to 15, where it almost comes out like straight with like a 10-degree cant. It's more like a 20, 30-degree cant.
So the couplers and the orientation of the actual tube might have to be messed with, and hood clearance issues because the hood is a little...
It's a little lower, so if you don't have the right coupler, say you just try to take a 15 to 17 cold air and throw it on there, you might be able to get it to work, but you got to play with the angles.
Okay, angle of the dangle?
The angle of the dangle, the yaw.
The yaw. Yes, what is it called? The TMI?
Yeah, TMI.
Correct. Some people will get that reference. So, Carrie, do we have any questions rolling in? Anyone curious about anything in particular?
We do. So let's start with YouTube. Jonathan wants to know, are there any mod-friendly dealerships in South Florida?
Dealerships. Oh, I see what he means. Okay.
Maybe AutoNation?
AutoNation up here?
No, he said South Florida.
Oh, South Florida. I honestly don't know where you can take your car and like get like a Ford Performance package or anything like that. I don't know of any offhand.
Most of the dealers will install a Ford Performance package.
Right.
If he's talking about like aftermarket mods, then that's going to be a bit more of a gray area. They might lay it out on the line that, hey, we're putting these mods on, but if anything happens, it's on you.
Right. There's a couple of, if you want to look at Roush certified dealerships, they will obviously install a blower kit, but I don't know if they'll install like long tubes and an off-road exhaust at a dealership. I just don't think they're willing to take that that risk. So
I mean, at that point, you may as well start looking into aftermarket shops like Power by the Hour and guys like that down there in South Florida.
Exactly. So as far as I know, no. Like he said, some Ford racing packages are installed by dealerships because it's a Ford racing product. But offhand, I don't know of any dealerships that do that specifically.
Jesus Christ.
Really?
Jesus?
Is paying a visit, and I would like. It's a long distance call. Yeah.
It's collect.
Says I'm doing a Coyote swap. He's seen a pretty cool silver one on YouTube and watched one of the owners that said he was doing a TVS and wanted to know what VMP kit should I get. I'm wanting to run low 700s. Also, if I'm putting a VMP kit on a Fox body car, what modifications will I need to make it work versus putting it on a regular 15 to 18?
I would think the heat exchanger is the only thing you kind of have to play with if he's talking about a kit.
Yeah, I mean, I would really defer to Power by the Hour.
Yeah, they're the experts.
They specialize in.
Yeah, on the Fox body stuff, especially on Coyote swapped Fox bodies, if you want like specific information, you need to call one of the shops that literally make a business out of that. And that is people like Power by the Hour. You call down, talk to Frank Pezzo, Perdomo, or Chris. And those get, or Jake is working. You leave Jake alone, but everyone else is pretty much there to answer all those questions. When it comes to bracketry, when it comes to heat exchanger, when it comes to pedals,
what
wiring,
accessories to run,
everything.
That's
what they do. We provide the kit. Now, for your car to make low 700s on pump gas, if it's a 15 motor, it might do it, but I'd rather have a little safety margin to say you're in the mid 650s or 600s pretty easily with like a stage 2 56s pump gas 79 millimeter pulley that should support that with a little sweeter fuel. I don't think 700 is that hard to get.
No, especially if you splash it with Torco or VP Octanium, stuff like that. But 700 wheel, it's kind of that weird zone where people can get there, you can do it,
right?
But you either need really good quality fuel or splash it with 93 and Torco.
Exactly, and you got to understand, 700 wheel in a Fox body,
that's going to be nuts.
It's pretty evil. See, 700 wheel in a car like an S550 or an S197, the car weighs 3,700 pounds. A fully loaded Fox, like a Notch or something, you're going to be in the 29 to 3,200 range. No traction control, no ABS.
Nope. Not a banana.
Trust me, that's going to be a wild ride. So be careful what you ask for.
Even 500, 550 a Fox is nasty.
You ever get into an 11-second Fox? You're terrified. You're like, oh my God. You get into 11-second S550, you're like, this sucks. This is so boring. Hell,
it's because the chassis is so much better.
Exactly. So that's a lot of power to put through a Fox. But hey, if you want to let them hang, like I say, then that's what it'll take. A stage 2, sweet fuel, and it should get there.
Shamlin says he's got a Whippled 5.0, 2016, 700 rear-wheel horse, and I'm still running a stock clutch while I have an RST standby. On performance-wise, is there any benefits of upgrading the clutch right now, street racing purpose?
Absolutely.
Yeah, if your pedals getting stuck at the floor or anything silly like that.
The stock clutch does not like to disengage for a couple of reasons. Once you're applying a lot of torque to it, so that'll cause it to swell slightly. So when you go to clutch in to release it, it just won't release. So you'll get that lockout. You might get it out of gear, but you won't get it into the next gear until the RPM start to drop slightly. So for a 700, hell, at 600 rear-wheel horsepower, I would get rid of the stock clutch. Even in stock form, I would get rid of the stock clutch because when you rev it high, anything above 7, you can literally cause damage to the transmission because of the stock clutch. It does not want to release. You wear out synchros, you wear out shift pads, forks, you bend stuff.
Tear up gears.
Tear up gears, and that's the last thing you want to do. Ben Calimer can work some magic, but when you bust a gear, that transmission is done, dead. Stick a fork in it, bury it, because you can't make gears for MT82s unless you buy his aftermarket gear set, which is still... But yeah, RST clutch, get it in there. You can spring for a Mantic, which is what I have more experience with, because RSTs are good, but they're still an organic material, and I think that it's not going to last as long as a Cerametallic or something like an RXT, but RXTs are a little on the aggressive side. But street racing, you know, you're not a sticky track, you might be able to get away with it.
Yeah.
Slab Shack.
I've heard that. I think he's like a consistent subscriber to our VMP.
Follower.
Follower.
Is porting a Trinity blower with... hold on. He's porting a Trinity blower with a 1320 Performance Junkie or BPS worth a true 30 to 40 horsepower. And when should you use a 148 millimeter cold air intake? Anything
under a 75 millimeter pulley, I think you can benefit from a bigger cold air, but I don't think it's necessary. But I think you can benefit anything under a 75 or a 72 millimeter pulley at sea level.
Yeah.
Anything above that, the 120 PMOS, JLT, they're fine. But when you really want to make sure there is no restricting and you have plenty of airflow coming in and a mono or a big boy throttle body, because if you're doing that through a twin 67 or twin 60 or a twin 65, it's kind of a waste of money. So, yep.
77 Ford Bug says, can a Gen 2 illuminator engine be put into a 2011 Mustang by changing the cam and chains? And what else might I run into?
Joe?
Yes.
Simple answer, yes. When you do like a Gen 2, which is 15 and up illuminator, the difference is the cam chains, the sprocket,
and the phasers,
and the cams themselves. So if you literally put the 11 to 14 cams, phasers, chain, sprocket,
you're good to go.
You're good to go.
TMTX, I'm sorry, 2MTX12 wants to know best intake manifold for Nitrous Coyote 11 to 14.
2MTX12s. He likes bass. He does like bass. I'm sorry, can you say the question again?
I'm all about that
best intake
bass,
manifold for a nitrous kit?
Nitrous kit, intake manifold for a nitrous kit. You can use any. I have had experience with the Boss. Some places make a Boss direct port deal. Stock is fine because nitrous makes a ton of torque and the stock intake will just exacerbate that. It'll make that a lot more user friendly, but you have to cater your vehicle towards what that, to make it usable torque. Like if you have 373s, you have a ton of torque, you might not be able to use that torque appropriately. So stock is fine, Boss is fine. Cobra Jet, I think, is one of those things that it's more for airflow, and I prefer the Cobra Jet to be used for an NA application or a boosted application, even the Boss intake, but I can't imagine it not working on nitrous.
I feel like someone's missing out on a good market. Someone just needs to make an intake manifold spacer that accepts a direct port nitrous nozzle setup, and it goes
in between the upper and lower?
In between the manifold and the cylinder head, and then you could swap a Cobra Jet on there, you could swap a Boss on there.
Also just a plate. So a plate direct.
Just like kind of like a cylinder head adapter flange for an intake manifold.
Okay.
Except you drill it and tap it to run a nozzle on it. And then you can remove your intake manifold, drop your new intake manifold on,
and still retain the
nitrous.
Hey, you're right. That actually is a pretty good idea. I wonder who can come up with something like that.
Or even set up like an intake manifold flange that just has a spray bar running through it, so that you could run a dual plane intake manifold, like the dual plane.
Dual plane,
yeah,
like a Torquer 2.
Yeah, like a Torquer 2. You can run like an 18 manifold, a GT350 manifold, and all that stuff direct port, without being able to see anything.
Yeah, you're right. It's totally hidden underneath. Yeah. We like the GT350 intake manifold also, and rumor is the 18 manifold is pretty baller, but we haven't done any testing on older
stuff. I
stuff.
asked for a tune for one, how much a tune update would be, so I guess we'll see how that looks here coming up here soon, but
I wonder how
I'd rather get one on the dyno.
Yeah.
We have an 18 manifold laying around we could see on our little 1112 car that we got.
Nikolai says there's a kit by BBR called the Reaper. It's already on the market.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
By who?
BBR.
Okay.
BBR.
All right.
We're
Well,
followers.
yes, they do follow our channel or my channel. But yeah, it's probably something that's beneficial. I have to look into it because that seems pretty neat. I can't imagine why people haven't really gravitated towards that. Nitrous is one of those things on these cars that people don't really go hardcore towards because the boost is so easy to come across. There's Paxton, Vortex, R-Kit, Whipples, there's turbos, and they work. So Fairmont might get the nitrous kit. Who knows? I mean, I don't care if I blow that F-150 motor up, but we'll see what happens.
I mean, you care, but
I care, but not that. Yeah, exactly.
Shamlin says Whippled 5016 makes 700 wheel, which we had already discussed, on stock headers with cat deleted pipes. What can I expect from LT? Jump in horsepower on high RPM, get rid of heat that produced from stock headers, which caused to timing retard?
Not really.
No. You're gonna gain.
There's no actual EGT probe in 15 to 17 stuff, and the headers aren't going to exhale enough heat quickly enough to pull timing at watt.
Right.
Because the only two functions that you have that pull timing on it based on temperature are ACT and ECT.
Right.
And it's not going to increase ACT, and it's not going to increase ECT so much that you're pulling timing in a watt pull unless you're doing a 5-mile pull.
Right. The headers don't make the car run cooler.
No.
You know, if anything, it less cylinder pressure and, you know, freer flowing exhaust, but in terms of heat, no, it's not. But it all depends on, Joe has mentioned this many times, how much are you willing to spend for a certain gain?
I think he's just asking just for the gain over cat deletes.
A cat delete, not much.
I was going to say 5 to 15 horsepower, somewhere in that range tops.
Yeah, cat deletes, you've already gotten rid of the biggest restriction, which is the cat. The long tubes will make it flow a little better, but not that much that it's just like an insanely noticeable difference.
It'll sound a lot different.
It'll sound cool, but I don't think it'll make your $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, $1,500 investment look great by saying 20 horse. Don't expect 50, don't expect 60. It's just not going to happen.
Okay, we're going to take one more from YouTube, and then we're going over to Facebook. You got a slew of comments coming in on Facebook. A slew.
Hey, Brian, can you Google slew?
So Jill says...
Is that like schmegma?
Oh!
Hey, that's
Hey-o.
Hey.
Family.
That's right.
Let me know, Brian, when you find it.
Do I need to spell it
No,
for you?
no, you're good. SHLEW. Go ahead, you can ask a question. Hey, he'll just interrupt.
He's got it right there.
There you go.
Jill says, my car has been sitting for around 4 months now. It throws the P0300 random misfire code. It is email tuned from VMP. Any help for me? What are common reasons for that?
The most common reason is not doing a crank relearn after a clutch install.
I've also seen when the car runs on the leaner side, let's say if you had a sustained vacuum leak or whatever, and then you fixed it, didn't do a cam reset, didn't do the proper things to clear all that stuff out, it can kick a random misfire code.
And a thing to keep in mind is if it has a blower on it and it was sitting all winter, and when you did your blower install, you didn't fill it with antifreeze, you could be getting a random cylinder misfire code because you cracked the intercooler and you're now inhaling water.
And you won't even know it. You'll just, you probably won't even feel it. It'll
Until
be
you
such
try
a,
to go and boost, and then it kind of like falls on its face.
Yeah. When people say it's been sitting for a while, that's when we go, okay, so the gas is old. You know, who knows what you put in the intercooler, you know, the intercooler for fluid to, you know, while you put it away.
Jill says, just had a new clutch installed, so I guess that might be the issue.
There it is.
Thanks, guys.
Do a crank relearn and you should be good to go.
Yeah, just get it up to operating temperature and do a crank relearn.
Yeah, get it up to 180 or so and should be good. Brian, you have an answer for us for slew.
We got it, man.
You got it. Oh, did you actually put it on the web on the stream? That's excellent. Okay, so there you guys go. It's an actual word. I didn't know.
Slew.
Okay.
And what does it mean?
You could yell it.
A large group of things.
Multitude.
See, there you go.
Dang,
Proper
accurate.
use. Man,
Very
great
actually,
vernacular.
we have the educated bunch here. I'm like, slew.
I know that surprises you guys,
Yes.
but...
Oh, here we go. Oh.
So let's move on. Dun, dun. Jason says, can I Coyote swap a 97 Camry? Would it be best to use JLT or PMOS for that?
Use either.
Either. Just Coyote
Just don't
swap
run
it.
a cold air.
Yeah, right. Just straight to atmosphere.
Just run an AEM affinity and just run it speed density.
Hey, that'd be pretty baller. Man, I want to do that, but just can't justify it. But yeah, you can Coyote swap whatever the heck you want. Use whatever you want. As long as you're Coyote swapping it, we're happy.
Yeah.
Mo said, this question is for Alex. I recently watched your YouTube video on the weakest part of an 11 to 14 Coyote engine and ignored your advice.
Of course.
Of course, now I have a rod sticking through the side of my block.
Thank you.
How long will it take for a fella to stop feeling like God kicked me in the nuts?
At least 2 days.
At least. And then, look, Joe was pretty much the one that told me what the good way of going about upgrading your engine is. Okay, if you have a good running 80,000, 70,000 mile, 11 to 12 Coyote motor, you're rolling the dice. I got lucky with mine, so don't use mine as an example. But you get an F-150 motor, throw rods and pistons in that, get it balanced, get it done, and then you sell your existing good Coyote for good money, and you throw the F-150 in there. That is literally the weakest part. I see a lot of times, the piston doesn't seem to go before the rod. When on a boosted vehicle, RPM, too much boost and detonation, you'll kick a rod in a heartbeat, especially on Gen 1 11, 12 Coyote. 13, 14 is a little better, but you can still chuck a rod. Donnie Renfro, the guy I tuned before I was tuning him, kicked the rod, and it was because he likes to lug it in second gear and floor it. And when you're flooring it, low RPM, you're more likely to kick stuff than not. But yeah, I mean, it sucks, but if you have a higher mile Coyote, it's a good idea if you're going to boost it and have a sustained period, time with it, to throw some rods in it. Rods and pistons, get the crank fixed up or get a 15 crank, throw it in there. Rods and pistons, that's an illuminator. That is an illuminator at that point. Obviously the heads are different, but you can port the heads while you're in there. You're going to be into it investment-wise, what, $1,800, $1,900?
You'll have a lot more money to spend on things to help increase power while it's apart.
Exactly.
You'll be out way more if you let it blow.
Because now it's
now you have
block's no good.
You have a boat anchor.
Yeah, the block's no good. Nothing's usable.
Now you have to buy a new boat.
Yep, pretty much.
Jonathan says, what is needed to tune for E85 on an NA S550 GT? Also, what power gains can you see from LT?
Long tubes.
Long tubes. So E85 is needed to tune for E85.
That's usually the first thing.
And then the tune. You don't absolutely need injectors. You don't absolutely need a fuel pump voltage booster. You don't need a different intake manifold. You don't need a different cold air. Just give a reputable tuner a call or shoot them an email, order on their website, order the tune, say you want it for E85, and just wait for them to send you the tune.
Now, power gains on long tubes on a naturally aspirated application are not going to be big. Some people delete the cat. We don't recommend that because we're emissions compliant. But that's a cheaper way of, freeing up some horsepower. Long tubes, you're going to see about a 10 to 15 tops horsepower difference naturally aspirated. And just like Joe said, you don't need an injector. Some people want an injector for headroom because we don't know how... Your pump is now getting older. The 15 Mustang is now 3 years old. It's getting older. Some have 80,000, 60,000 miles. So some people ask for injectors, but you don't definitely need an injector. You can just do it on the current setup, ask for a tune, a reputable shop, you should be good to go.
Justin says, do you guys include additional traction in your written tunes? I would hate to lose control of my car from so much power.
So do we put VHT in the tune?
No, this was a thread on
Traction?
Coyote Smack Talk or something. Who said that?
Traction?
Was it BJ?
No, Justin Smith.
Okay, because BJ actually sent me a message about this last night, asking if I saw the post.
It's called tires.
Someone was trying to blame Lund, and Dasan replied to the email, but
Traction.
yeah, he said that
blowing my mind right now.
His tune caused him to wreck his car because he didn't have enough traction.
No, your foot did, and your cheap ass not buying tires did.
I almost wonder if it's a troll post though.
It's got to be a troll post.
Probably.
It's got to be a troll post.
But
now,
it's like screenshots of like Lund Racing Zendesk, so it makes me think it
might
may be a
be
legitimate
real.
ticket.
Now there are people out there that tune progressive power control stuff. we like to do that by telling you to buy a tire, and that takes care of everything. Get a tire. I can guarantee if you're hazing the tire just a little bit, you're gapping the dude with some kind of tune to get traction. I guarantee it.
Like that straight six bar. The
one that just kind of
Falcon
that passed someone doing a burnout.
Doing a rolling burnout.
Yeah, exactly.
John Lund said it was real.
It was real.
God.
Junior?
Second, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. If
that's
it,
crazy.
that's just crazy talk. You look, get a tire. If you're, you know what I see a lot in the Mustang community, and it makes me sick. And I'm trying not to get off on a tangent, but
We're on a tangent now.
Yeah. You're gonna get a tune on a car, and you're expecting it to go 11.0 with your Pirellis that are worn out and your stock clutch, and then when you crash it, you're looking to blame somebody like, hey, Ford,
for a handout.
Oh my God, warranty.
I want
I
a
blew it up with a
refund.
tune. I want to see if I can get it warranted. I don't know. He's from the South all of a sudden, but
I don't know.
but look, get a tire on the thing. Lack of traction is a good thing. That means the tune's working and it's making power. It's up to you to make it stick.
John Jr. said yes. I told him good luck.
Exactly. That's pretty much all you can do. And we see them all the time. We see that. You know how many people tell us we want you to turn off traction control on the tune, and what do we say, Joe?
No.
And why not?
No,
Why don't you
no.
want to turn off traction control on a 15 and up
Because
Mustang?
when they put it into a guardrail, I don't want to be the one that shut off the traction control. I want them to have been the one that put themselves in that situation.
Have you ever driven an S550 through rain, like quickly, with traction control off? It's not fun. It's not. I drove the GT350 down home one time, and I hit a pretty bad rainstorm, and everything was on. It took everything I had to keep that thing straight.
Well,
these
was
cars
that
don't
on
like rain.
The Michelin pilots?
They had cords showing, but
Yeah.
just saying, just saying. These cars are not fun. There's all
don't
this
think any
advanced
car's
track.
fun.
There's this in rain.
Yeah.
There's this advanced track that's very, very good, and it keeps you straight. And we're not going to disable that by any
No,
means.
and if you want to get silly, take that into your own hands.
Yeah.
Either pull the fuse in a S550 or disconnect the ABS loop over by the
cold air.
cold air.
Yeah, and that's it. And we're not turning it off in the tune because then when you jack it up, you're going to try to hit us up for money because we turned it off and listened to you. Turn it off yourself.
Yep.
Tangent, man. We get off on tangents, bruh.
It's all good. They like it. They
Yeah,
continue
they
watching.
love it.
so
Exactly.
Remember to like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Remember, like and subscribe everywhere if you want more of this content.
Yep.
If you want me to overreact for everything, just like and subscribe.
And with this new Facebook policy, I think comments and shares
share
are what do
share it, man.
Share
Hit
it.
that share button. Share it to cooking groups, everything.
Tim says, I'm a VMP lover,
Hmm.
getting ready to install my 4Twin 465 return style fuel system.
Okay.
Can I get a base tune to drive it to get tune?
If you're driving it to us, we can give you a base tune as long as you buy level 3 and then pay the difference for the dyno.
I've got
tune
your
we give
stage
you.
3 kit on E. Can you send me a tune for a return fuel system? Also want to go to 79 from 82 on E85.
As long as you set your base fuel pressure to 55 psi and you leave the vacuum reference off for while you're driving it, the tune that you have
Should work pretty
should
good.
work as long as you're not changing the MAFR injectors at the same time that you're doing the fuel system.
Right.
If it's just a fuel system change and you just need to get to the dyno, disconnect the vacuum reference,
Plug it.
set it to 55 psi, and the
And don't go watt, just hang out.
don't go watt. Don't do that. It's a bad idea. But just get it to where you need to get it on that, and then configure it the way that your tuner or we tell you to configure it when you get there.
There you go.
And there we go. I'm going to do a couple. We have a couple on YouTube, so I'm going to shoot
Cool.
over there. And
Yep.
then we got a slew on
slew.
Facebook.
A
Yeah.
slew.
A smorgasbord.
I don't know about a smorgasbord,
Yeah.
but. All right, so 77 Ford Bug. He had discussed earlier about the illuminator.
Yep.
So anyway, he's getting a killer deal on a Gen 2 illuminator motor because someone put it in his Gen 1 without swapping the correct parts. Could it have hurt the motor if it was ran for a while?
No.
If it was run for a year, not set up right, you might have an issue, but you should be pretty good.
Yeah. And what's a killer deal on an illuminator?
Probably like 5 Gs,
Okay.
4 or 5,
not
something
bad.
in that range.
I'd take it.
Phil says he's looking to buy a stock 15 to 17 S550 Mustang Coyote. What's the best tuning solution for it? I have some experience tuning my Evo 8, if that matters any.
It
Thanks.
doesn't, no.
Completely.
Pro, cons, and tangent.
Get it tuned by someone who knows how to tune it. That's what you do. If you want to learn to tune on your own, the S550, any Coyote, is not where you want to start. And from a personal experience, look, I'm not the best at all. It's pretty difficult. And when you look at, and the crazy thing is, once you get used to the Coyote stuff, you look at the older stuff confuses you, which trust me, it's a crazy thing. I would get it tuned by a reputable shop, reputable tuner, a top tier Coyote tuner, and let them do the tuning, let them do what they're best at, and you stay away from the tuning aspect 100%. Unless you really want to go into the matrix and start tuning these things, I wouldn't really play around.
Would you bring your Chevrolet to a Ford Master Tech?
Oh, no. But yeah, I wouldn't want to start tuning it myself. Now, there's a lot of people out there that want to tell you how to tune their car that don't know anything. So we usually suggest, hey, you can buy the Advantage software and tune it yourself, by all means. And they think that's a smarmy remark. Yeah, it's not a smarmy remark. It's like, hey, you know, we have done all the testing, blown them up, know what the thresholds are. The last thing we're going to do is do something you want us to do, knowing that it's not something that we recommend.
Yeah.
So just take it to someone that knows what they're doing. You should be good to go.
And trust them.
Just trust them, yeah.
Trust
Look, do your research. There's people out there that, you know, there's good and bad. So just, I'm not going to tell you who's good and bad. We think we do pretty damn good. But there's also other companies out there that people might want to try, and we get that.
Nick says, what is the widest tire you can fit on a new Edge Mustang? Looking to make my car look as wide as Kylo Ren's did in that shirtless scene.
Hey.
I have no idea what that is.
That was a Star Wars reference. Kylo Ren. No.
What's that have to do with tires?
And
a new
That's
Edge.
a tangent, though.
Oh, whew.
Tangents are occurring.
Kylo Ren. Man, what's he?
Today's show.
18 years old? Let's go. Come on.
You can do like a 345 is the biggest I've ever seen anyone do on a stock style, a stock width axle. But I've never seen wider than 345.
Damn, that's a lot of tire.
It's a lot of tire. You have to roll the fenders to fit it on a new Edge.
Like an 11-inch rim?
Yeah, like 11, 12-inch wheel.
Wow, and it fits.
Usually like a custom fitment, true forged or CCW.
Yep.
Because all the other wheels are like 17 by 10s, a lot of the stuff that you can get from places like American Muscle and LMR and stuff like that.
Right.
But when you get a wheel that you spec to a certain back spacing and offset and width, you can kind of get a little bit more wiggle room where you can get it a 1/4 inch away from here and a 1/4 inch away from there and know that you're still dead center.
Got it.
But yeah, 345s is as big as you're probably ever going to get away with. I wouldn't recommend going past a 315. Just it really depends on what wheels you're running and how low the car is and whether
Just
or not
answer
your fenders are rolled.
345.
Yeah, 345 is the biggest I've seen. There you go.
There you go.
I'm going to go ahead and jump to Austin's question because he is pinging me on both channels repeatedly.
It's okay.
So he says his car is going into limp mode and gives him the code P2112.
Stuck throttle.
Throttle, actuator, a control system, stuck closed.
Is it a monoblade?
What's the problem?
Is it a monoblade?
Could be a lot of problems.
Yeah, it could be many things. It's not necessarily just a throttle body. It could be the tune. It could be the throttle body itself. It could be electronics.
Another thing to address here is that P2112 doesn't necessarily mean that the throttle was ever actually stuck.
Correct.
It's kind of like a causal code that pops up to let whoever's pulling codes know that the vehicle at one point in time would.
He says it's stock.
What?
Yeah.
He says no stock.
If it's completely stock, it's probably a bad throttle body or a bad TPS sensor.
Yep.
But take it to somewhere to have it diagnosed and fixed properly.
Actually, we just saw this at the Wanna Go Fast Half Mile where a Roush RS3 had that come up on a twin 60.
Well, I think I went over this last episode that I've seen twin 60s, the stock GT500 throttle body have TPS issues, like right out of the box. It doesn't happen often. I just think it was a kind of like they source sensors from a different company, and for whatever reason, a third of those were bad.
Okay.
Because for that, we had like a couple months where we were seeing data logs where people had bad TPS sensors.
He says GT350, Manny FBO, E85, stock throttle body.
Stock old, so it's not a twin 60.
Palm Beach Dyno Tune.
Don't know. Get with your tuner.
Yeah.
Get with your tuner on that one. I'm not even gonna touch that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get with your tuner. Hey, look, I didn't tune the car. I told you what a
not
twin.
on the stock Ford tune.
It's not on the stock Ford tune. It's tuned by someone else, and we have only experience with twin 60s doing that, not a stock one.
I've seen a stock throttle
You seen?
be
Okay,
bad.
so it could be bad TPS for all we know.
Yeah.
Because you did have to reconfigure stuff around, put spacers and everything. So
Yeah.
yep. Get with your tuner. Send logs. Get with them and see what they can do for you.
Yep.
That's usually 90% of the answers. I love you guys, but 90% of the answers is we can't answer tune questions from people who, other people's tunes. They're configured totally different, you know? It's not like we all use the same bass and copy paste or anything.
Yeah, Control C, Control V.
Yeah, my Control C, Control V fingers, these two are just wore out.
My hand just defaults to, is
Control
it
C.
No, AWDS.
Let's see here. Michael says, what's the setup on your shop truck that went 11.7s?
Stage 2 VMP supercharger.
Ta-da!
And that's the setup.
No, but it has to have other stuff.
No, good stock 18-inch Goodyear Wrangler RSAs. 4x4. And yeah, Torco.
Torco, a little bit of Torco. That's it. ID 1000s. It's got a twin 67 stage 2 kit. That's pretty
Stage
much
2
it.
kit with a throttle body.
Yep. No E85, no nothing like that. Just sweet fuel, and it just works.
Hopefully there'll be a faster truck out of here soon.
Yeah, Joe's going to be playing around with his truck soon, so we're shooting for a lot quicker times out of that truck. Not only is it lighter, but we can be more aggressive with it, and there's stuff we've learned along the way that we think will help these trucks perform a lot better.
Race truck.
Your buddy Keelan Stone?
I don't have
Kellen?
any.
Ellen Stone?
Kellen?
Keelan.
Who's that guy?
Kellen is he's up in
I know who he is.
Pennsylvania.
I was being so careless.
No.
What would be the best break-in oil and filter for a new
Oh
Coyote
my
engine
God,
with a
dude.
boosted application?
Oh,
And what would
Kellen.
what would a recommended period of time
Oh my God,
to
Kellen.
run the break-in the oil thing?
Slowly turns around.
Stock oil, and drive it like a normal person, and then change the oil at regular intervals, and then drive it. Breaking oil. This isn't a 1970.
I'm just gonna start doing spins.
Fleetwood Broham. Just put it on there, put oil in it, and drive it. Look, my motor got rebuilt. I put stock oil in it, and I went to want to go fast with the same oil. Who cares? Break-in oil. Get out of here.
Oh, Gene.
Yeah. Kellen, look, I love Kellen. He's a great guy. And I think that, I don't know if that question was serious, but he's building his motor because he recently had a failure. But look, man, put regular Motorcraft 520 in it. Don't go watt like a moron. Just kind of hang out, make sure that there's no leaks and everything, and then get rid of it. Throw some 550 in it. Ready to party.
Let's see here. Trenton said, let's go to the next one.
he swearing up a
it's kind of
storm?
a long one, so I'll let Joe go back.
Cool.
Okay.
And Danny says, Alex, what's up, buddy? Discuss the
Not
issues
your
with
friend, buddy.
I'm not your buddy, guy.
Danny Taylor says, what's up, buddy? Anyway, discuss the issues with folks putting ice bags on their blowers, please. People don't realize how badly it can mess up their casings.
Okay, so the rotors are on top with our superchargers, and the intercooler is in the manifold beneath it. The moment you put ice on top of the case, you're now cooling the case, and the rotors, when you go wide open throttle like on a dyno run, warm up during the pull. Not a lot, but they warm up. The clearances are so tight on these blowers that everything has to grow and contract at similar rates. The moment you change one of those rates by putting ice on top of the case, you can potentially have the rotors grow faster than the case and have it rub internally. Now, Chris, one of the video guys here, also noticed that there was ice on top of a CTSV at Wanna Go Fast, but the CTSV is backwards. The intercooler, like new Whipple kits for 18 Mustang, the intercooler is on the top. So you can put ice on the top and it'll be fine because the intercooler is there and the rotor on the bottom. Ours, rotors are on the top, intercooler on the bottom. Do not put ice on it because you're changing the rate of growth. There you go. Ta-da.
Roberto wants to know, does VMP make superchargers for the 2012 Shelbys?
Yeah, of course. Of course, that's our bread and butter, man. I mean,
that's what we started
That's what we
with.
started with. We started with Shelby
Started
stuff.
from the bottom, now we're here.
Yeah, started on the bottom, now my whole team. Yeah.
We just draked that. Not proud
Yeah. Roberto also wants to know how much horsepower can expect with a supercharged swap on the low end.
On the low end, 650. On the high end, 1,000. Really be anywhere between there?
He's not wrong. It's just
Yeah.
funny because he goes there.
Apparently Martin Schultz is having a lot of fun on our
That's good.
YouTube channel.
He's like, oh, they mentioned me. Yay. I was
He
noticed.
says he's here doing gay stuff.
So, well, okay.
We're equal
Actually,
opportunity
he's
here.
telling you to do gay stuff, and then he
Oh,
says it looks
sweet.
pretty hot in here. And then he's making a point to let us know that he's a 35-year-old sexy bearded one.
Ooh, is he a bear
Oh,
or a
my.
twink?
So, and he wants to know whether
It's a fun show.
and he says he's cute and adorable and he's blowing
Okay,
kisses.
yeah, that'll work.
So anyway, back to questions. George says, I have a Track Pack 13 with 373 gears. After the twin turbo install, I'm passing the quarter
And going in a fifth.
in mid fifth. I got a set of 331s, but haven't installed them yet. What are your thoughts on this?
Install them.
Definitely step 1 is install them.
Step 1, install.
Step 2, profit.
Step 2, profit. No, step 3.
Step 2. Step 3,
Step 3, profit.
Yeah, 331s would be a good gear for
Yes,
a turbo car.
331s because
Or even 315s.
no, not an auto, not manual. Because first gear,
I was thinking auto.
No, it's a manual track pack. So 331s, best gear in my opinion for any boosted MT82 equipped car.
Sub 1,000 horsepower.
Exactly. Anything above that, you're. Whoa.
Just put a 9-inch in it.
Yeah.
Put a 9-inch on.
Yeah, because you have more selection of a gear ratio. But 331s, if you're making big boy horsepower, you can rev it higher. But 331s, I was crossing the traps at like 7,100. Fourth gear, 331s.
What was your trap?
135 when it was with the MT82. It went up to 139 with the T56, so up to 410s. Fourth was 1-to-1, and I was crossing at 7,100 again. It's all about math.
Nice.
I'm really bad at math, but you know.
Oh, what? How can you tune when you're bad at math?
I steal people's stuff.
Is it just, is it tuned with a U or tuned with 2 O's?
2 O's.
Okay.
Tune, yes.
Rami says, hi Alex, thanks for the help this weekend.
Rami Zaidan in Puerto
I hear
Rico.
so much about Rami.
Yeah, Rami went to an event where it was kind of like a test and tune / bracket racing, and he was the only car in the nines.
He put the gap band
He
on
put the
people?
gap. Dude, there were people out like a bus on him, like a bracket style race, and he would just whiz right by him. I think the best he was able to get was like a 9.7 out of the car. The nitrous wasn't working properly, so we were gonna play around. And but the car made tons of horsepower on the dyno with just a very small shot. So we're proud of him. He's repping Puerto Rico hard. It's the fastest car down there, S550 anyway. So yeah, we're proud of him.
Sick.
Stock axle, stock drive shaft.
No, you can't do that.
No. Stock axle, stock drive shaft, 69 millimeter pulley on a stage 3 kit, 970s.
Give me one. Let's see here. Jordan says, increase horsepower, upgrade suspension for future horsepower first. And then he says, built MT82 or swap for T56.
T56, and yes, suspension work is smart to do. I'm not going to tell you, look, I run UPR stuff. For S197, S550, I run UPR stuff. You can run whatever you want. There's BMR, there's Maximum Motorsports, there's Steeda. So look through those companies, see what you think fits best for you, and go from there. But if you're going to make power, you're going to race it a lot, I would go with the T56. T56
Less
is
things to worry about, or wait for the Ben Calamer G4 geared MT82.
Yeah,
see
well-
how that stuff does.
Yeah, once he announces that, that could be a game changer because people can just take their MT82 and make it 1,000 horsepower capable to withstand. So that's going to be exciting to see what he comes out with.
I'm just waiting for the Supra transmission swap.
The Supra?
The V160 out of like a MK4 Supra.
Isn't it a Gertrag? Isn't it a okay?
It's Gertrag, but it's like Gertrag Germany Gertrag.
Oh, like
versus
actual
China
Gertrag, not
Gertrag.
China's. The China division. Okay, got it.
The dollar store division.
Right.
Are you ready?
Oh, we've been ready.
Yeah.
We've been ready.
We always ready.
We've born ready.
Yeah. Nikolai says, have you guys done cam swaps in the truck motors? How much do they normally gain on truck motors?
Cam swaps like from
Like a Mustang cam swap
cam,
or comp cams or L&M or...
We haven't done that many, but the popular swap to do on 11 to 14 truck motors is the Mustang cams, 11 to 14, which is what I'm doing. I have a truck motor, and right after work today, me and Joe, we're going to touch tips, then we're going to go ahead and play around with cams
Woo!
and see what happens.
Don't forget about the moon landing either.
The moon landing.
Yeah, the moon landing is
Do we
happening.
have to dock?
No, you don't have to dock for moon landing. You have to touch butts.
Touch butts. The moon landing, that's great.
Oh, Lord.
Good.
See what I go through every day?
The memes, guys.
Yeah, just remember the memes are coming.
That's fine.
All good.
You're going to be
equal
touching tips.
opportunity.
Okay, that'll work. But no, we
Well,
haven't done
I
cam
think I
swaps on
lost my
F-150.
place.
We haven't
Jason
done cams
says-
on F-150.
Jason says now we're going into
yeah.
inches. Will 2.5-inch exhaust be big enough for a Coyote swap, or should I go 3-inch?
No,
Well, 2.5 would be fine. 3-inch would definitely be good.
yep. If you have the room to wiggle around a 3-inch exhaust, I'd prefer that. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go 3-inch.
Yeah, because the big thing is not necessarily cubic inches, but the RPM Coyote can move.
Right.
Like you're not at 5,500 RPM 5-liter overhead valve engine. You're
not moving
8,000
nearly.
RPM 5-liter. You
Yeah.
can run enough air to need a 3-inch, but
Justin
2.5
Stevens is saying that Alex is definitely a bear.
I am a bear. Okay.
Sorry.
Move on. I'm not disagreeing.
she
And-
can't. She can't even. She's evening and she can't. Uh-oh, it started.
Andrew says, if you were to choose between an 0304 Cobra or 18 GT to use as a drag platform, which would you guys choose and why? It would also be a daily.
18 GT.
18 GT.
It'll be faster out of the box.
It's a whole nother planet.
And I love Cobras.
Yeah, Joe had Betty, and I looked at them when they were out and couldn't afford them at the time. I couldn't even consider a Cobra. I couldn't even consider, believe it or not, based on these new cars, I wouldn't even look at older GT500s. Yeah, the price is nice and it's nice, but I wouldn't even bother because an 18 GT stock is an 11.8 car NA. Wait till the blowers goes on these. Wait till turbos. Wait till E85. Wait till everything really starts popping off. It's going to make everything look like a dinosaur. It'll make my S197 look like a dinosaur. Trust me. So that's what I'm trying to keep up with the red car.
But the Cobra will maintain its value. That's the
Absolutely.
tricky part.
It's a rare
Cobras,
car. But
they
he
already
said
took the hit.
he said drag racing and driving.
Yeah.
18.
You're gonna have
If you
more
can swing
fun.
it. That's the one he gave us. You know.
You're definitely gonna have more fun riding in the 18 for long periods. The Cobra may feel more fun around town just because it's overpowered for the chassis when you do anything to them.
Those cool burnouts.
Great smoky burnouts. But take all that with a grain of salt.
Exactly.
Got to make your decision at the end of the day. We can't.
Kamana wants to know how aggressive a cam would you install in a fully built 5.0 block with a centrifugal supercharger setup?
505 lift, 303 duration
B-cam.
at 0.5, not 0.005, and a 118 LSA.
That's the funny thing, right? If you gave them cam specs, would they even know what the heck they're
A lot of people
okay.
wouldn't.
Right.
And that's the problem with the misconception is like, I will say a cam spec and then they're just going to go to Google and Google, oh, I'm going to Google this cam spec. All right, it's a comp stage 3. All right, buy from comp or buy. All right, who has it for the cheapest? Amazon.
Yeah.
No.
Who has the coupon code? Hey,
I'm
does
not-
anyone have used ones laying around?
Yeah, I'm not about that life.
Exactly.
Get in touch with a cam manufacturer or someone who specializes in selling cams, like I've referenced them before. Michael at L&M,
Yes.
Comp Cams, or if you're looking for a very, very custom grind, again, reference Michael at L&M, or get in touch with a guy on Facebook named Todd Warren.
Okay. There you go.
I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there. You could probably get in touch with Brian Tooley Racing. I don't know how much he knows about Coyote stuff. I know that he's really good with cams on LS stuff, but
Doesn't hurt. Cam's cam.
yeah. Air in, air out.
Penelope wants to know when's VMP going to have some Fox body love out there?
Oh, we have plenty of Fox body love.
There's 2 Fox bodies there's 3 Fox bodies here.
Yeah, there's
There's
two,
the yellow one, the silver one.
There's
And
2
mine.
notchbacks.
My
and-
car's a Fox body.
Yeah.
Yep, the Fairmont is
well,
a box.
I guess that's a trunk car. That's kind of like a notchback.
Yeah.
Except it's
grandma's notchback.
yeah, it's grandma's notchback.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the LTD notchback.
Yeah. Wow. I actually got in it today. Man, that thing stinks. Oof, I got to do something about that car. But
Simply Green and Fabuloso.
Fabuloso, which is fabulous in Spanish. So yeah, we do love the Fox body. I just don't think what we do is we provide supercharger kits and upgrades to known and popular applications, S197, GT500, S550. If all of a sudden we saw a market where we can really dip into, we would. But there's so many places providing stuff for the Fox body.
That and a lot of the stuff that we make for Coyote, when people Coyote swap their Fox body,
transfers right over.
All of it goes right over.
Exactly.
So it's not like we're ignoring the market. It's just more so that a lot of the stuff where guys keep a stock engine, they want AFR heads, B-cam, shorty headers,
1.6 rockers,
a pro chamber, and dumps. And people already make all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
We have no stake in that fight.
Exactly.
So we'd rather get them in on the Coyote, the good stuff. Unless you're going to do a Roush Yates D3.
Then they're in a whole nother league.
Yeah, you're going to have fun.
You're all right.
But yeah, that's why we don't do a lot of Coyote stuff. But we do play with Coyotes.
Dakota says, I just got a new Mantic twin disc installed as well as a stage 1 Calimer trans. It runs great, but will randomly pop out a second gear. I know the shift forks are new in the transmission. Any other possible reasons why it would be doing that?
No. I mean, it's not like as long as it's fully engaging in the gear and you're not having the clutch drag and only pulling it half in, there's not really any other, I'd say not popular reason, but well-known reason why it would pop out.
No, it's not an adjustable stop or anything. It's just, it is what it is. I really hate that term, but yeah, it kind of goes where it goes. And if it doesn't, there's something potentially internally wrong. I wouldn't blame the clutch. I would say drive it for a little bit. Do not go wide open throttle in that clutch until you've driven it bumper to bumper traffic, a lot of cycles for 500 or so miles. Don't go watt within the first 10. I've seen people do that, and it blows my mind.
If you think you're possibly having an issue with the transmission and it was built by Ben, reach out to Ben and see what he wants you to do before you go and put 50,000 miles on the transmission.
Or post on Facebook that you had a Ben Calimer built transmission and a Mantic clutch and it's popping out of gear.
Yeah, just give Ben, either send him a message or give him a call or shoot him an email on his website or whatever.
Yeah,
get in touch with him first and see what he wants you to do.
He knows everything about these things, way more than we would, so he'd be the guy to talk to.
That, and since he's the one that built it, I don't really want to speculate on what could be wrong because it's like, all right, well, I didn't build it.
No, I don't know.
So right. I don't know what could really be wrong with that. Mm-hmm. But there's certain things that it could be.
So quick shout out, Bubba Blue says he likes these live streams. Keep them up. Great questions.
Like and share if you like them that much. Did you like and share yet, Bubba? Huh?
Did you comment?
I bet
Bubba?
you did.
Oh, he did comment. But he
just read but he didn't like it or share it.
And then comment on his share.
Yeah,
and
man.
then comment on his like.
Put it on your LinkedIn profile. Everywhere. Who cares?
Yeah, get the word out.
I'm gonna head over to YouTube real quick.
Cool.
Okay. But let's see here. Fernando says 5015 F150 looking for tuning options. There's calibrations that claim to run all fuels, including E85. Mm-hmm. Other tuners advertise different tunes for specific fuel type and octane. What should I consider?
Consider all the things you just discussed.
Right. If you want to run a flex, which the truck does come with flex fuel logic, we can do that. Not a problem because the truck kind of does it on its own. We just accentuate that. We massage it. We give it the rub down. The hot stone massage. So, but if you want a specific dedicated E85 tune, tuners could do that too. Some tuners say, I don't want to do that. Well, then whatever you want, you have to do your shopping as to who will best cater to your needs. That's what I would suggest you do.
Ivan says, how aggressive a cam would you install on a fully built 5.0 block? We already did that.
Yep.
He must have it on both channels.
At 0.5.
Nick says, belt 2V, 4.6 with a Pro Charger P1SC.
The red sandstorm starts
when you get above the recommended horsepower rating for the 2-core intercooler, do you run more into IAT or boost drop issues? Ballpark of 5 to 520 wheel horsepower.
Upgrade the intercooler. You'll run into boost drop and IAT issues.
Ta-da. Dun, dun,
dun. James says, I'm doing my first set of half-mile events this summer. Would you recommend 315 over 331 gears for a 700 wheel horsepower VMP MT82 car?
331s because you want to be into fifth. You want to be into fifth for a little bit because fifth is 1-to-1 on MT82. So don't do 373s because you might hit a limiter with 373s in the half mile if you have a supercharged vehicle. 331s would put you right in that sweet spot, you know, just right. Like that, you know, when you take your sock off and you get home, that, oh yeah, man, you know, just
slide
right,
your toes underneath the covers, just
right
like,
there.
and then just barely get them out the other side.
So just like that. So fifth gear, 331, you should be good to
Lord. Edgar is blowing up our feed over here on YouTube a little bit, talking to himself, going back and forth. He says YOLO's got some wisdom for him. So
go. Not really. I just fake it real good.
what rear gears to wake up a 6R80 car on the 60-foot? Car is dead hooking and won't do better than high 179s.
Man,
He also says 305,
Is it dead hooking at
50R15.
7K? That's the real question.
That's a 28.
Yeah, so it's naturally aspirated, I take it, right? I'd leave the 315s in there because with a converter, that thing will wake right up. I'm saying night and day. I don't want you to get 355s in it because what happens, right? You get 355s to 373s, then you put a blower on it. Then you go, damn, I should have left those 315s in there because first gear on the 6R80 is what? Is it a
416-1, I believe?
That's first
on a
gear.
15 to 17 or 11 to 17 car.
That's a low first gear. So the 315, just with a little more power, a little more RPM, should get out of the hole better. So I wouldn't really mess
He
around with
says
gear
no
ratios.
twin screw, makes 610 wheel.
Get a converter. Get a converter then. Get a converter or have your tuner throw more timing at it. If we're tuning it, call me up and we'll throw more timing at it. But unless you have like a 20-inch wheel or something like that, because it's...
That's a terrible 60-foot.
That is
especially
terrible.
for blower.
Because Donnie was doing like 159.
Well, we were 1.4,
Yeah, and the NA18 does 1.7 something.
Yeah.
So something's going on.
I'd look at some data logs because that you should be more than capable of doing more.
Unless he has traction control on, dude. Or puts it in sport mode. Would I put it in
He
sport
says
mode?
17 degrees.
Whatever that is.
Well,
on the hit?
Well, is it flat? Is every timing table above 10 load 17 degrees?
Yeah.
Because that'd be really weird.
Yeah. So he unless he's tuning it himself, I don't know. I would say...
What's my timing at? It's at 17 degrees everywhere.
Yeah, at idle.
Just
idle.
send me a screenshot of
BKT, MBT 17.
Oh, is BKT 0 at 17 degrees? Or is BKT 26 at 17 degrees?
He says timing.
Okay.
I know what timing is.
Yeah, we know what
Sorry, not to be mean, but...
No, I'm just
We
chiming
need-
with
yeah.
Well, your timing at watt at 7,000 RPM at 1.4 or 1.5 load is going to be different from what it is on the hit at 0.8 load at 2,000 RPM.
Right.
So that's why we're saying to be best to data log it, because if there's any way possible to get another 3-4 degrees in on the hit, you could 60 foot a lot better, but that's not the region where you're talking about where you're at 17 degrees, unless that's literally the way your tuner has your tune set up, which if he does, get a new tuner.
Right.
But if you're 0.8 load on the hit or 1.0 load on the hit, call it 2,000 RPM and you're at 8 degrees there.
Which is like 8 to 11 is what I see around there.
Yeah, so you could throw a little bit more at it, see how the NOx sensors respond to it, see how the octane likes it, and you can get even more aggressive than that from there. But that's one of those things where we can make a gear recommendation, but there's other things involved that could help you get through the 60 foot a bit better. So whoever you're having tune the car, if they are willing to look at a data log of the car at the track and to see if there's any way that you can get a little bit more out of the car on the hit, just in what you have in the tune and the gearing that's already in the car, I would try and do that before I swapped gears or thought about a converter or anything like that.
Also, look at what the cams are doing. What's the intake cam doing on the hit? There's
Well,
a bunch of
That's the
things.
secret sauce.
Exactly. We can't be telling people too much numbers, but there's a bunch of stuff to be done in the tune. Get with your tuner, data log on the hit. That'll do a lot more than just asking some guys on Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, you telling us to wrap it up? Did you tell us to wrap it up?
having so much fun, though.
See how he's wrap it up,
guys, I have
guys.
more questions.
That's
Do you know
okay.
how many questions-
We don't have to get through all of them. We can hit them up later.
Any good analyzers do you use to test content of ethanol?
There's a
Quick Fuel
Quick-
makes one.
Quick Fuel.
I think Summit has their own little like private label, or no, Holly. Does Holly own Quick Fuel now?
I don't know. I know someone owns Holly. I don't know. Someone
Yeah.
bought who? But yeah, any really are pretty. They're dummy gauges, right? They're generally close.
They're
They're
specific gravity measurements. but-
not, so you're basically gonna just have a dummy gauge in front of you. It's in the 80s. We're good, you know.
yeah.
Full bolt-on for my S550 or forced induction?
Well, you bolt on forced induction,
Blonde or brunette.
Right.
It's a preference thing, really. Right. You can get fast either way. It's going to cost you different amounts of money either way, and you'll have a car that drives completely differently either way.
Exactly.
So blonde, brunette, Pepsi, Coke.
Redhead.
Yeah, definitely. But you really want to, you have to know yourself.
Right.
Know what you want out of the car. Be able to quantify what you want. Get in touch with a builder or tuner. Ask them what you need to do in order to achieve that goal, and then go with what they tell you to do.
Mm-hmm.
Hayden says, what are the typical gains of an L&M LM1 cam with headers and intake on a 11 to 14 Coyote NT82? Do you prefer the intake only or LM1 on NA14, 11 to 14 Coyotes?
We haven't really tested that cam on that specific setup. That's such a specific setup. MT82
Most
car,
of the stuff
NA,
that we do is
14.
boosted with cams.
Yeah, we go boost like pretty quickly because we're a supercharger company.
I would defer to the cam manufacturer and see what they would recommend before I'd ask.
Because they've done all the testing.
Yeah.
And with other tuners and everything.
They're not really, I don't know how the specific cam manufacturer is going to respond to you because I don't know who you're going to ask, but ask them in such a way that how much power can I stand to gain with this cam and how much power can I stand to gain with this cam? Not necessarily which cam should I use, because at the end of the day, that's for you and your tuner or whoever you want to contract or work with to figure out what you need for your car, need to decide.
Alex saw your post about MT82 on 2018 Mustang and how it's easier to shift due to twin disc. Will the same theory apply to an 03 Cobra? I need to upgrade to the McLeod RXT and hope better shifting.
Joe?
The same does not apply.
No. Different engine, different motor, different clutch, different transmission.
The synchros are made
different
of different
RPM.
materials.
Yeah, different transmission.
The T56 doesn't like RPM,
Right.
at least not in stock form.
Yeah, I had to get my XL. Ben had to do some special stuff so it could shift better at high RPM. So the same does not apply on 03 Cobra versus MT82 in a completely different motor, different trans, different chassis, different everything, different clutch. It does not.
Yeah.
John wants to know, have PD blowers been known to destroy oil pump gears?
Not PD blowers per se. It's not like you bolt it on and you go, there go the oil pump gears. I only can use myself as an example. Had 115,000 miles before I sold the black car. Stock oil pump gear. What kills oil pump gears is resonance, vibration, any harmonics.
Cog drives.
Oh yeah, you put a cog drive in that sucker, I guarantee that sucker's gonna complain. But no, PD blowers by themselves do not cause oil pump gear failure.
James says, thanks. Also, we'll be doing an RXT with one-piece aluminum drive shaft. Would you recommend doing an aluminum flywheel or a lightened steel one?
On the Coyote
I only drive 2 to 3K miles a season and do half-mile events.
There's different trains of thoughts on flywheels. What is your train of thought in terms of a heavy flywheel versus a light flywheel?
Within reason, go light. Unless you're wanting to drag race, launch a car, and not have to worry about a big hesitation on the hit.
You go heavy.
A steel flywheel will help keep the moment of inertia high for that. But an aluminum flywheel is going to be better because there's less rotating mass at a higher RPM.
So he also said, a lot of people are saying the lightened aluminum has terrible drivability, but I'm thinking less rotating mass.
Leaving a stoplight, it's going to take more torque to keep the aluminum from dropping in RPM as you engage the clutch. To me, that doesn't necessarily mean worse drivability.
It doesn't make some sense.
To me, that means you have to drive the car a little bit differently.
Just drive it different, right?
Yeah.
And you might also be overthinking this, severely overthinking this. Ford only put about $1 billion or so bucks into this program, and I would think their flywheel is suitable. If you have to get anything aftermarket, I wouldn't overthink the materials, honestly. It's, like he says, you might have to drive it a little different because now you don't have OEM components in there. If you're going to launch the car, I prefer a heavier flywheel. If you're going to daily drive it and road race it, I prefer a lighter flywheel.
If you're doing half-mile stuff.
I would do lighter.
Yeah,
Lighter
because
flywheel. You don't need to launch it on half mile. Most guys just slightly
Just
get out of
feather
the
it
hole.
out.
Like when you beat the
And-
Hellcat, like when you destroyed that Hellcat, you were
The
out
Gap
on him and he
Nation.
feathered it out of the hole.
Well, that was auto too.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Man, that's
But-
terrible.
Like I said, within reason, don't worry about going too light. If you put a 3-pound flywheel in there, it's probably not going to be fun to drive, but it will be better for high RPM stuff. But if you have like a 13 or 14-pound aluminum flywheel, probably going to be fine.
Bryant says, can you street tune an 04 Cobra, or would you require a dyno? Either way, it'll have a wideband and multiple data logs.
I can street tune it pretty easy.
Kamana says, YOLO, take a vacation to Hawaii. I'll show you around if you retune my car while you're here.
Is Kamana a girl?
I don't think so.
Brian dies over there. Because I will not go to Hawaii if it is a guy.
From everything I've seen, the fuel quality in Hawaii is
It's
terrible.
bad fuel quality in Hawaii. There's some ethanol, but man, it's like a... There is the fuel quality isn't great in Hawaii. Like Joe said, we've tuned some cars there. Ethanol is expensive, but no, I will not vacation to Hawaii to tune your car because that doesn't sound like a vacation. It sounds like a job.
$12 a box.
Yeah, exactly. Take me out to an $800 dinner because the cows over there, they gotta like import everything.
Tyler says, I've heard you guys say that F-150 Coyotes don't handle the power of a blower as well as a Mustang engine.
Truth.
Any way to put a VMP charger on a 15 to 17 F-150 reliably, daily drive, occasional 1/8 mile drags?
Yes. Yes, we've done 5 or 6 in-house, 15 and up. Ours has had it from the get-go.
That, and if it wasn't reliable, why would I put it on my truck?
Exactly. He's going to put one on his truck. So yeah, and like I always tell people, the OEMs use a similar design. They use a TVS and a cast PD blower deal. So it's going to be reliable. You don't have to open your hood every second to tighten your clamps or anything like that. You should be good.
Or to check your belt tension on your adjustable half-inch billet mount.
Exactly. It's put it in, go walk away, and it should be pretty trouble-free for a long time. And it'll go real good too on an F-150.
Edgar says recommendations on changing the cam chains, tensioners, and oil pump gears if only revving to 7,200.
Stock.
Does that stock?
Jinx.
All right, moving on. I'm keeping you here for another 15 minutes, and then we're done.
Feel free.
Remember, guys, if you're complaining about tunings not being turned around, blame Carrie. What's your email? Carrie.
Don't worry about it. Yeah. Trey says, do you guys offer flex fuel tuning on a fly, and is there anything additional you need to purchase?
On bees, not flies.
Oh, okay.
No. Flex fuel. Now, if you have an F-150, we use the stock logic to do its thing. On 11 or 17 Coyotes, no, we do not. And don't ask me why, we just don't. You want a dedicated E85 tune? We got you. Flex, we don't care.
Mike wants to know who decides on tuning. Does Justin do some of the tunes and Alex does other tunes based on mods?
It's a
Who
queue.
decides on tuning?
Who decides? Basically, you guys order the tune and we just grab them. You know, we just say, Joe will do a bunch. Joe does the most volume. I think I stick to mostly Coyote stuff. I dabble in Cobra and 2-valve and 3-valve. Oof. And some truck stuff. But there isn't a hierarchy. Justin tunes some personal customers, some shop cars, Rebecca's race car. He does that, and he grows the business. So he's not necessarily sitting in front of a computer tuning all the time.
Yeah,
Joe and
Justin,
I are.
I would say, to accurately describe how it works, Justin's kind of taken a ownership standpoint of the company. He doesn't really tune very many cars unless people that he's worked with in the past specifically ask for him to work on it. Other than that, it's just me and Alex. I handle the AM stuff, and I'd say about half of our system, because we do tuning through AM as a premium level tuner.
American Muscle.
Yep, and then him and I just kind of like split the stuff that comes into the VMPPerformance queue, and we just go through the list. Which one's the oldest? All right, here's this one. All right, what do I need to do? And we build the tune file.
Yep.
Trey says, will you guys tune on HP Tuner software via consumer laptop without locking the map? I would like to make my own adjustments if needed in the future.
Absolutely.
If you think that we will, you are nuts.
Absolutely not. And explain to them why. Because how long does it take us to make a base file?
Well, more accurately, we will tune through Engage on HP tuners right now, but it's something that we want to properly vet the setup before we say that, yes, we'll absolutely tune that setup through Engage, because there's things that we can do from a tuning standpoint that we can't currently do. There's things that we can do currently from a tuning standpoint in SET that we can't do in HP tuners. We're working with HP tuners to get that stuff figured out, but until the point in time in which we can do those things in HP that we can in SET, we don't tune every platform in HP tuners.
But we won't provide an open tune for you to adjust.
We won't provide an open file.
It's not happening. No premium Ford tuner that I know is doing that. It's just not. We have too much time and effort in the R&D process to just have something, here you go, because, you know, you don't know who you're giving it to, and if they blow it up because they want to adjust spark or they want to adjust anything, they'll say it's tuned by VMP or whoever, and when in fact it was tuned by you who didn't know what they were doing.
You'll tune the car, give them the open file, and then you'll see 3 months later they're sharing the file that you gave them for their car
On a forum.
with other customers that haven't paid for a file, and it's like,
What are you doing? What are you doing? Exactly. So we
I
tend
really
to,
want to help you moving forward.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I don't.
We really don't. We're not protecting. We're not paranoid. We're basically saying, look, you're providing. It's like giving you the recipe to certain, meals or things. Like, I'm not going to give you the recipe. I'll give you the meal. I'm not going to give you the recipe. Just you like the meal, go to cruise.
Keep buying the meal for me.
Keep buying the meal. That's it. You like the meal? Come on back for another meal. I ain't giving you the recipe.
Hey, chef, can you give me an exact...
How'd you make this stew?
Yeah,
What's
I really
in this
want to make
stew?
it, but
How
I'll
much?
still keep coming here to get it from you.
All of a sudden, he opens a shop, and it's like, just off his name, like, if
Yeah.
it's like Giuseppe's, it's like Giuseppo's.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Like the soup Nazi. Remember the soup Nazi from Seinfeld?
Soup
And
Nazi.
she stole
No
the recipe.
soup for you.
Yeah.
That's it. No different.
Yeah.
No soup for you.
No soup for you.
Philip says, do you guys play with the Focus ST RS platforms?
No,
Not enough to say that we do.
not yet.
Gino says, just got an 18 GT Auto. Do you guys have a tune and intake for it? If so, how much can I gain? Is it available now?
It is not available now.
Soon.
Circle back around in like a week,
Soon.
and I'll let you know.
Yep. Very close.
Michael says, 15 GT here. My logs are showing false knock. I have been under the car several times for hours trying to look for anything loose or header runners that could be contacting under watt. No such luck. What is your recommendation?
Get with your tuner and decide whether or not you want to work on limiting what the knock sensors can do. If you cannot find a knock issue and you both feel that it is truly false knock, a lot of the times it's not false knock. Or a lot of the times that people can't find an issue, there's still an issue somewhere. Regardless of whether or not you can't find it, there's usually something either tapping on the exhaust, a restriction in the exhaust to the degree of a 3/8 washer welded inside a resonator delete.
Yes.
But that's a decision that you and your tuner need to make. What needs to be done if you cannot find the source of false knock? If you have a blower setup that's seeing 1.3 load and it will only accept 3 degrees of timing and your ACT, ECT, all that stuff's fine, wideband AFR is fine. You may have a false knock issue. If you can't find it, get with your tuner, see what they feel comfortable with doing to resolve that issue so that you can at least feel some of the power that you paid for.
Ryan says, guesses as to why a car would kill both upstream O2s within a day of each other. Car has SW long tubes, but has not used E85.
Condensation. You can still get condensation with a gasoline-based fuel.
If you notice some of the long tube manufacturers, they're starting to cock the header at 45-degree angle as opposed to a 90.
Or the oxygen sensor.
Sorry, O2 sensors, right? The wide bands like Cook's. So that helps with moisture getting into the front wide bands on Coyote cars. So if your wide bands are installed this way, it might cause moisture to get in there. If they're installed cocked at a 45, it's less likely.
Rocky says, easy question for you. What fuel pump would you run on the 15 so you do not have to run a boost pump for, say, a Hellion kit?
4 Innovations return fuel system with twin 465s.
There you go.
Mike says, I have an ON3 ON3 turbo kit on my Coyote and an HP tuner N gauge. Who would do that application, Alex or Justin? Or does it just depend on who's available?
Neither of us. I mean, who would do a turbo application on an HP tuner's N gauge?
If anything, it would probably be me, but that's
Coyote.
not a platform we currently
Yeah, we
support
don't
via
support it,
Engage.
right.
So that wouldn't be me.
Matthew said a couple of weeks ago, y'all mentioned an F-150, possibly the VMP F-150 had killed the drive shaft. Can you elaborate on what happened? Was it a two-piece?
Wheel hop,
Wheel
stock
hop.
drive shaft.
Wheel hop on a stock drive shaft. Literally, all 4 tires came up and
If you don't let out quick enough, you will break it.
Larry says, I have an 11 GT500 and a 10% lower. How low can I go with the upper pulley and be safe?
2.5.
Alex, when will the 2650 be available for 07 to 12 Shelby? And with that, I'm going to sit there and say tune in on Thursday night because we'll be talking about the 2650 then.
Yes. Yep. You heard the lady.
Christopher says, is the supercharger intercooler different between a 2.3 and 2650?
Nope.
Nope.
Jason says, what's the best year Coyote to swap into my Marauder?
15. And no, 15 to 17.
15 to 17.
Jordan, I think I covered this one, but we'll double check. Jordan said, built MT82 or swap for T56?
T56.
T56.
Michael Longo says, a 15 Mustang GT here. My logs, wait, he asked it again. Sorry.
It's all good.
Hey, Alex. I'm in the process of building a dual overhead cam 5.4 with an 0304 Cobra heads. Also looking to convert to E85. It will be NA for the time being. Would you be able to tune or recommend someone?
Joe. I recommend Joe. Because I'm not, look, pre-Coyote, we support them. I get it. We tune them. I don't care about them. I don't care. Only because the Coyote and up is just such a great platform. If you want to know anything about B head, C head, A head, Q head, this and that, that's the guy. Joe is by far well more versed in that department than I am. So did you get the question at all? Basically, he's wanting to know.
You said Alex and I just shut off.
Yeah, exactly. You know, when it comes to questions like that, I'm really not the one to talk to. I would email us that question, VMPPerformance.com, put in a ticket, sales will give it to the appropriate person and you'll get it answered. If it's set up in power goals, that's probably the best way to do it. We can work with you in terms of what to expect. If we tune it or not, email us and we'll get you squared away.
Christopher says, what's the best VMP supercharger intercooler or Roush supercharger intercooler? And is there a difference between a 2.3 and 2650 supercharger intercooler?
No, it's the same one.
Scott,
well, 15 and up is a little better, isn't it?
Well, 18 and up is different.
18 and up is
that's
different.
a topic for a different day. 15
exactly.
to 17, our intercooler is the same as Roush's. The heat exchangers are significantly different. Our heat exchanger is what we would consider better.
Scott says, any guesses on how much the fuel system will support on 93 and race gas E85 on a boosted 1850?
Depends on what part of the fuel system you're referring to.
All right, there's DI, then there's port. So that's kind of a...
The port uses I think it's a 22 or 23 pound injector. It will not support much. The DI is depending on what pressure you're referring to, is like a 134 pound per hour injector, but it can only operate at a maximum of 25% duty cycle. So that significantly cuts down the amount of fuel it's able to inject. I speculate that the max you'll be able to support on the stock fuel system without doing a DI injector upgrade or a DI pump upgrade or a in-tank lift pump upgrade is going to be around probably 700 crank, maybe as high as 760 crank, but you're not going to get much higher than that out of the stock fuel system.
Margaret says, should I cam swap my 07 Super Snake or wait until I get it built?
Super Snake? What makes it super?
Super?
You can cam it. Makes good power.
Yeah.
Cam it. L&M, NSR cams. Boom.
Or Kurgan.
Or Kurgans, right.
Yeah.
They just work. They're a good cam.
I think we did this one too, but we'll double check. Chris says, have you guys dabbled with L&M intake cams on the Coyote platform?
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah. Josh says, an 18 GT MT82 car here. Area has no E85 stations close enough to realistically run every day. At least we have 93, so when it comes time to do a blower, what would be better, VMP Gen 2 or the new 2650? Will fuel octane limit both blowers to same numbers?
If it's an 18, he said it's an 18.
That's why I'm saying
Okay,
we will not be, we won't have a VMP Gen 3 TVS for 18.
Right.
But details as to why we're not and all that stuff.
Shortly.
Tune into the video on Thursday, and if you have a question, ask it there.
Okay. So.
I hate cliffhangers. Oh, well, tell me now.
Murphy TV says, Alex left us logging the GT500 and go live. Waiting for your reply, man.
Okay, so we're doing this, so you have to wait, brother.
Peyton says, I have a 1970 Mustang Fastback, which I plan on Coyote swapping in a couple years.
Ooh.
I don't want to cut the transmission tunnel to fit T56, so I plan on running TKO 600.
Okay.
Ideas for the bell housing.
Adapter bell housing for a mod motor.
Yeah.
Bolts right on. Coyote has the same bell housing as a 4654 mod motor, so.
There you go.
Jose says, any ghost cam for F-150s?
No.
Blah, blah, blah.
No ghost cam for anything.
James says, last question from him. What is your thoughts on the killer chiller versus rear trunk icebox for PD blowers? Cost difference between the two isn't that big. Why aren't more people using the KC?
If you want to use a KC, do it for roll racing. If you want to do it for drag racing, use an icebox.
Yep. I don't like relying on a factory air conditioner to cool my blower, but it works. It seems to work well.
The problem with using it on the track is the condensation. They make a drag kit,
Right.
but in my opinion, you're just better off using an ice box at that point.
Right.
But if you're out there doing
Hoonin'?
bakery rolls,
Right.
go for a killer chiller, because every time you make a pass on the trip to Mexico, you go for like 5-10 minutes, have your AC on, you're cooled back down to what you were before you made your pass, and you're good to go.
Yep.
Peyton wants to know, what is the power difference between 91 octane versus 93 octane when both tuned properly?
Depends on where and how sweet the 91 octane is. I've seen 91 octane be as sweet as 93 Carolinas, North, South Carolina. It is sweet. So just because it's 91 doesn't mean it's 91 across the board. I've heard people say, oh, only a 91 octane. Trust me, I've seen very sweet. California has very sweet 91 octane also.
Matt says, Alex, if you were driving the Viper, would the F-150 still have won? Be truthful.
Yeah, I would have won. I would have destroyed the F-150. Plain and simple. I love that guy. He's a nice guy. I would have walked the crap because I treat him. That was the whole thing. I treat him. I had him by out of the hole by a couple tenths. So that it was over right then and there.
Rashid wants to know, I have a good question. Do you tune comp cams with phase limiters or without? Does it make a difference?
Yes and yes. There.
Okay. Michael Longo says he's got a 15 Mustang GT. Logs are showing.
False knock?
Yeah, again. Sorry.
How did I know that?
They're like going through and just
They repeat, I think. for some
over and
reason.
over and over.
Right.
And yeah.
Might be a glitch in the matrix.
No, it's not a
I
glitch
sent
in the
you a
matrix.
picture. Why haven't you responded?
Because you see why they.
Everyone knows what I was talking about.
Dun-dun-dun.
Ba-dum-bum.
Trenton says Coyote versus 5.44 valve GT. I think he meant 500.
Okay.
Which has the capability to make more power. Let's say both engines have the same compression. Can the 5.4 make the same or more power than the Coyote on the same boost? I was curious if the 5.4 has any inherent advantages. It seems like
Size.
it can't turn the RPM that the Coyote can,
Right.
or have the advantage of VCT. Not sure how the cylinder heads compare.
VCT is the advantage to the Coyote. Displacement is the advantage to the 5.4. The heads flow similar, but if you're running them both at the same boost level, the Coyote is probably going to make more power, just based on what I've seen. A Coyote at 20 pounds versus a GT500 at 20 pounds. The displacement does not make up for the power difference.
Did you hear that? Shelby owners trading their cars in right now because you said that.
Oh man.
They're saying, oh my God, Joe said,
Because like,
heavy breathing.
It's like a TVS at 20 pounds. It's, if he was talking about pulley drive ratio, to me that'd be a different comparison.
He also said same compression. So an 11-to-1 compression GT500 motor or a 9-to-1 compression Coyote motor. I still got my money on the Coyote motor. Not by a bunch.
I didn't think about the compression.
He said same
GT500 at
compression.
11-to-1
It's pretty badass.
would be pretty nasty.
Yeah. Then it'd make all the torque on the planet. Like all the torque. But when we're
I've
talking...
never seen a GT5 or a Coyote make 670 crank.
Crank?
Crank.
What do you mean?
Like if you look at the Engine Masters Challenge, I think it was John Case, and then I think it was Mahovitz.
NA Coyote.
Well, NA 5.4, but
Got
if you're still adding atmosphere, so whatever you make NA, you start adding atmospheres, you're just multiplying the power at that point.
Right. So it's a wash. It's one of those things where I'd like to have the bigger motor at that point.
Yeah,
Right?
if compression's the same, head flow's in the ballpark, the Coyote does have the advantage of VCT, but when you're talking about peak power, you can just degree the cams on the 5.4
Right.
for whatever you want, whether you want it to be low end power or high end power, and you can still get similar power numbers out of the GT500, but your average horsepower, average torque may be lower than the Coyote because of the advantage of VCT.
And now the Shelby owners took their cars back. They feel better.
So I'm only going to take one more question, and then I'm cutting it off. And there's a whole bunch of questions, Joe. If you could go through later on and follow up with, that
Just
would
make
be
sure to
awesome.
like and share it, though. Like and share.
Yeah, if you guys don't like and
On
share it, I'm
Facebook.
not going to go through and look at the questions.
Joe's going to see if you liked and shared it. If you didn't, we're not going to
If
answer
we
your
don't
question.
have
That's it.
over 25 shares, I'm not going through the questions.
Yep. Take
How
that.
about that?
We're holding it for
How about
ransom.
that?
We're holding it for ransom.
Holding it for ransom.
Chris,
So,
do we have an amount of shares already? Can we count? Yeah.
I would have to refresh. Can you refresh
That's
it?
okay. No big deal.
We'll wait.
Yeah, we'll
We
wait.
got time. That guy with the Shelby tune's like, what the hell? Catalogs.
We're at 24 shares.
Oh, one more. Then
Yeah.
that'll work. Then 34.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem high enough if we're
No,
already
no,
there.
exactly.
Like another 5
So what's-
shares.
I don't
So,
know, but your YouTube count has gone up this week. So
Cool.
Oh, okay.
So what's the last question, Carrie?
the last question. So Zach had asked a question, I don't know, last week or the week before, and I vaguely remember it. You might remember it as well. He has a 17 GT MT82 Roush supercharged car. It's running well. It's running about 11.3, and then all of a sudden it would make no power around half track, and then it would run high 12s, and then at 12s the power came back. You guys had mentioned clutch protection, so he unplugged the ABS controller, but it didn't change.
That won't disable clutch
I won't
protection.
disable clutch protection.
It would run bad, then good, then bad right after, even after the car cooled down. He said he called Roush.
Oh, Roush.
Sorry.
Same thing.
Rush at Roush.
They said it could be a tire size issue going from street tires to ET Street. The computer is seeing the axle turn faster out of the hole than it should based on the tune.
Depends how they configure it, but I don't know how they configure it.
I feel like you're talking to the wrong person.
So will it close the throttle body? Have you heard of this?
No. Get a tune. Get an aftermarket tune. I understand you want to keep the warranty, you want to keep the wife happy because if you blow it up, you ain't on the warranty. Just get an aftermarket tune, and it literally wakes the car up. If you're looking to race it and keep the stock Roush tune, you're going to have to deal with these torque management issues, these throttle body closures.
If you really want to know what's going on, just data log it.
That'll tell you. He said it was closing throttle supposedly, but I don't know if he data logged it. But get someone with an SCT X4. Any X4 can log any car. Okay, it doesn't have to be married.
Any Ford X4 can log any Ford.
Any Ford 7015 part number can log any Ford, and it doesn't have to be married to that car to log it. Get a friend with a laptop or a preloaded config in it, log it, send it in to someone, and we could take a look and say, this is what's happening, and then we can make better assumptions or recommendations based on what we see.
Yeah, and we may not be able to tell you why something is happening, just that this is happening.
Right.
But at least then you'll know exactly what's happening as opposed to speculating based on fuel or ET or trap.
Right, or tire size.
Yep.
So with that said, we're going to wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
It's about 3:05.
Okay, sweet. So remember, guys, like and share the content. YouTube, share, like, and Facebook, share, like, the whole 9 yards. Because the more you like it and share it, the more there's a demand. So
You're up to 29 shares.
29 shares. Okay, so you have to answer the questions. So
Yeah.
And subscribe to our YouTube channel, because that's where we're going to be spitting out a lot of content when it comes to the 18 Mustang, the truck, install
Dyno
videos, dyno videos, bikini contest, wet t-shirt, everything is going to be in there. So we're going to
Daytona Spring Break.
Oh my God.
Nationals.
So, all that stuff. So we're going to be filling the content up, so make sure to subscribe to that, and we'll spit out content as much as we can. At least a couple of times a week, it seems to be new content up there. Okay?
I think that's it.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good day, guys.
See you later.
Thank you.